for 10 minutes. If Chris comes and stands behind you, I'll take a picture right in front of you.
Good morning. I'd like to call to order the meeting for the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees. I appreciate your interest in the Alabama Community College System, and I'd like to commend the Chancellor and his staff, the presidents and their staff, for the development of our documents that we'll review today. And as always, we are all focused on we're laser focused on student success and remain true to our core mission of education, workforce development, and academic transfer. At this time, I'd like to introduce our pastor, Reverend Lucas Tribble, who's going to lead us in an invocation. Lucas is a native of Montgomery, Alabama. He's a graduate of Auburn University with a bachelor's in industrial and systems engineering. I commended him on being an engineer and receiving a calling to go into ministry. So that's pretty commendable. He received his Master's of Divinity from the Candler School of Theology of Emory University. Lucas is a provisional elder in the Alabama West Florida Conference of the United Methodist Church. He has previously served as the associate member at Mount Zion United Methodist Church in Smith Station, Alabama, and as the associate minister at Trinity United Methodist Church in Phoenix City. He is in his fourth year as an associate minister at First United Methodist Church of Montgomery. Lucas is a sports fanatic, no surprise there. He avidly follows Auburn athletics, the Atlanta Braves, the Atlanta Falcons, and though those are his favorite teams, he will watch whatever teams in whatever sports are on the TV. Lucas is married to Sarah Beth. Sarah Beth is a speech language pathology for Baptist Home Health. They have a beautiful greyhound named Dansby. Reverend Tribble.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you all so much for having me this morning. I wholeheartedly believe that education is a tool that God uses to transform communities and the world. As we have turned the calendar to 2022 and the challenges continue in our communities, I thought it would be good for us all to take time to pause in prayer and reflection for all of the students, faculty, and staff in the community college system. I will read through each of the towns where either a main campus or a satellite campus is present. As each community is read, I encourage you to prayerfully reflect on the students, faculty, and staff at the campus in that community, especially if you have direct connection to students, faculty, or staff at the schools in that community. I encourage you to spend time with the names of those individuals on your heart. Let us go to the Lord in prayer. Lord, we lift up to you the students, teachers, and staff in Albertville, Alexander City, Andalusia, Anniston, Arab, Atmore, Bay Minette, Bessemer, Birmingham, Boaz, Bruton, Carrollton, Center, Childersburg, Clanton, Deatsville, Dothan, Enterprise, Eufaula, Evergreen, Fairhope, Fayette, Gadsden, Galleon, Gilbertown, Greenville, Gulf Shores, Hamilton, Huntsville, Jackson, Jasper, Marion, Mobile, Monroeville, Montgomery, Opelika, Opp, Ozark, Pell City, Phoenix City, Phil Campbell, Rainsville, Selma, Summerton, Tanner, Thomasville, Tuscaloosa, and Wadley. Lord, that is a lot of places in which you are impacting our world through education. God of all, we lift up all of the students, teachers, and staff within the Alabama Community College system. We pray for their safety. We pray for their growth. And we pray that you will continue to make the world a better place through them. Lord, as this body gathers here today, may you be present with them, that as they make important decisions for students, teachers, and staff across the state, that lives may be enriched and those communities may be safe havens for all people. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. It's time, let's please stand for a pledge. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Wilkins, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Jeff Shell. Mr. John Mitchell. Ms. Valerie Gray. Mr. Matthew Woods.
Present.
Mr. Goodrich Rogers.
Present.
Mr. Milton Davis.
Present.
Mr. Levelyn Brown.
Present.
Mr. Blake McAnally.
Present.
Dr. Yvette Richardson. Present. Governor Kate Ivey.
Okay, great, thank you. Our agenda was sent to our board members in advance for review, and at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion for approval of our agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Rogers. Second. Second by Mr. Roan. Any discussion? All in favor of approving our agenda, please signify by raising your hand or a voice vote. All right. Motion approved. And I was going to say, I believe Mr. Mitchell is on, but we can't hear him. Okay, all right. Okay, got it.
I was muted. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Very good. Okay, next on our agenda is the approval of our minutes of the December 8th meeting. And again, these minutes were distributed to the board members in advance for review. I would now like to entertain a motion for approval of those minutes.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. McAnally,
Second.
second by Mr. Woods. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote. Any opposed? Motion approved. Okay, Ms. Wilkins, do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
No, sir.
Okay. Thanks. All right, next on our agenda is item 7, academic and student affairs, adult education, facilities, fiscal information technology, and workforce development. The first item is item 7A1, the approval of increasing the special building fee for Northwest Shoals Community College. And it's recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize Northwest Shoals Community College to increase the special building fee that they charge the students from $8 to $12 per credit hour. The fee will take effect the fall semester of 2022. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wood,
Second.
second by Mr. Rogers. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 7A2, the adoption of resolution for the approving of bond issue. And it is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees adopt a resolution providing for renovating, constructing, and/or equipping the facilities on the Phil Campbell Muscle Shoals campuses of Northwest Shoals Community College for the financing thereof by the issuance of revenue bonds and the maximum par amount of up to $13,500,000 for securing the payment of the principal of and interest on such bonds and for payment of costs and issuing of bonds. Is there a motion?
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Woods.
Second.
Second by Mr. Roan. Any discussion? All in favor of this, please signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 7A3, the Wallace Hall HVAC project. It is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize Gadsden State Community College to proceed with the construction of the Wallace Hall HVAC project. The scope of work for the Wallace Hall HVAC project includes replacing the building's existing 50-year-old HVAC equipment with new energy-efficient equipment. Construction contracts have been executed, shall be executed no later than June 30, 2022, or this authorization shall expire. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Woods.
Second.
Second by Mr. McAnally. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 7A4, the Helderman and Bevel HVAC upgrade projects. It is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize Gadsden State Community College to proceed with construction of the Helderman Hall and Bevel Hall HVAC upgrade project. The project scope includes replacing the existing two-pipe chiller boiler HVAC system that serves both buildings and is currently failing. The existing system will be replaced with variable refrigerant flow systems that support each building independently. Construction contracts shall be executed no later than June 30, 2022, or this authorization shall expire. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Roan,
Second.
second by Mr. Woods. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 7A5, the roofing restoration and repairs for buildings 112, 115, and 120. It is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize Northwest Shoals Community College to proceed with the construction of the roofing restoration and repairs for the buildings 112, 115, and 120. Construction contracts shall be executed no later than June 30, 2022, or this authorization shall expire. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Rogers, second by Mr. McAnally. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 7A6, the softball field and baseball field artificial grass installation. It is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize Northwest Shoals Community College to proceed with the scope of construction for site preparation and subsurface work of the softball field and the baseball field artificial grass installation project at the Muscle Shoals campuses. The entire playing surface, infield and outfield for both the softball field and the baseball field will be artificial grass when the project is completed. In the event only one bid is received for the scope of construction and preparation and subsurface work of the softball field and baseball field artificial grass installation project, Northwest Shoals Community College is authorized to proceed with the negotiation of the work through the receipt of informal bids as outlined in Title 39. Any negotiation for the work shall be for a price lower than the original bid. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Rogers, second by Mr. McAnally. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Next is item 7A7, the West Alabama Regional Training Center. It is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize Wallace Community College Selma to proceed with the construction of the West Alabama Regional Training Center. The project scope includes converting a building previously used as a National Guard armory into an educational facility. The renovation of the 22,690 square foot facility will include the build-out of classrooms and lab space for multiple programs, interior finish upgrades throughout the building, restroom renovations, and electrical and lighting upgrades. The scope will include improvements of the entrance and exterior of the building, new landscaping and hardscaping, and asphalt pavement improvements. Construction contracts shall be executed no later than June 30, 2022, or this authorization shall expire. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Roan, second by Mr. Rogers. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 8, executive, legal, and public information. Item 8A1 is for the 2022 legislative agenda, and it's recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees adopt the attached legislative agenda, which was discussed at our work session at our last meeting, for the Alabama Community College System for the 2022 Alabama legislative session. It is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize the Chancellor to form position statements and issue directives as necessary during such legislative sessions to further the interests of the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees and the Alabama Community College System. Is there a motion?
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Woods. Second.
Second.
Second by Mr. McAnally. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is item 8A2, the approval to confer a named gift opportunity. It is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize the president of Gadsden State Community College to confer a named gift in accordance with the Alabama Community College System Policy 519.01, naming of buildings and other college facilities by designating the student lounge of the Valley Street Learning Resource Center as given in honor of Dr. Gertie Lowe. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Woods,
Second.
second by Mr. Roan. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes, and we appreciate the donation from the Gadsden State Cardinal Foundation. Next item on the agenda is item 8A3, the conveyance of roads to the city of Bay Minette. It is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize the Chancellor to execute a quit-claim deed to the city of Bay Minette for the roads comprising South College Drive, North College Drive, and Faculty Drive, which traverse coastal Alabama Community College's Bay Minette campus, as shown on the aerial map, which we reviewed during our work session at our last meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Rogers,
Second.
second by Mr. McAnally. Any discussion?
Just like to say thanks to Mr. O'Brien for helping work through some comments we had in previous meetings about this issue as with respect to getting these rights-of-ways tied down from a survey and making record of it. He was able to find someone to do that at a very moderate cost. I think going forward, it's going to be beneficial to somebody in the future to having done that. So thank you, Mr. O'Brien.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor of passing this motion, please signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next on the agenda is personnel. Any personnel? No personnel matters? Okay. Next on the agenda is the Chancellor's report.
I'd like to call on Olivier to give us an update on enrollment.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right. I will start off by saying that I have been strictly threatened to stay under 10 minutes, so I will do my best to do that. I really want to update you all on just three things that have happened since we last spoke. The first item that I'd love to update you on is where we stand with enrollment. But before I do that, I want to give you a recap of the fall in a report that I provided, I think, in October that showed you where we stood with enrollment. So in the fall semester of 21, we saw some things happen that were really positive for our systems. One of the things we saw was nationwide, the trend for enrollment for community colleges was down. If you all remember, about 5.5%, but it was down 14% since 2019 nationwide. And in just the fall semester, nationwide enrollment was down about 5.5%. We were really fortunate to let you know that ACCS actually bucked that trend, and we were up 6% across our system, which equated to about 4,700 students in head count, but it also equated to over 28,000 additional credit hours produced, which we were really proud of. So we had a good fall, is really what I'm saying. 19 out of our 24 colleges saw an increase in head count. 18 of them saw an increase in credit hour production for fall semester. But just like any other enrollment group, we kind of put the fall behind us and we're working towards the spring. So the second item that I want to update you all on is our spring semester, which is the semester that we're in now, and I want to share with you where we currently stand. So currently, if you will, and I know this is a busy chart, but if you look at that yellow highlighted line at the bottom, we are comparing ourselves where we stand as of today, January 12th, 2022, in comparison to the blue column, which is the total number that we got across the system for enrollment last spring. So the blue column, if you'll imagine, is April of 2021, and the green and beige column is actually today as we stand. So we're comparing where we are today in comparison to where we were total last year. So as you can see, we're already there. And the good thing is, as of right now, as of this morning, as a system, we are 871 students ahead of where we were in April of last year. And we are also 1,400 credit hours ahead of where we were in April of last year. So that's certainly a good trend. If we did a year-to-date comparison, looking at January 12th this year in comparison to January 12th of 2021 for spring semester, we are actually up 2,500 students in head count, and we are up over 3,000 credit hours produced. There is definitely some silver lining in this data. One of the things that I want to share with you is that we are still in kind of the first week of classes for most of our campuses, and about a third of our system hasn't had their first day of class yet. A lot of our colleges planned ahead last year due to COVID, so they scheduled their first day of classes for next week, just to give students kind of a natural quarantine, if you will. So we certainly expect these numbers to continue to increase, but as of right now, it is a positive sign of our enrollment. I will be honest with you all and tell you I'm glass half empty. So we're certainly working as if we're not ahead, but our data shows that we are. So as of right now, 21 out of our 24 colleges are within 90% or higher of where they were total for last spring. And 12 of them have already surpassed, meaning they've already seen an increase in enrollment for spring 2022. The same thing for credit hour production. 21 out of 24 colleges are ahead, or excuse me, are within 90%, and 12 of those 21 are ahead of where they were in credit hour production this time last year. Our numbers will continue to fluctuate just because we're still in the first week of classes for a lot of our campuses, but also our second mini-term has not started yet. So another positive sign is that hopefully within the first 2 weeks of March, we'll see another surge of students. But over the next couple of weeks, our colleges will run their deregistration processes and so forth. So those numbers will teeter-totter just a little bit, but we still expect to see a good spring for us as a system. So that's the second update I wanted to provide you in terms of enrollment. But I would also be remiss to move forward from this slide without acknowledging our presidents and our deans of students and our instructional people for really working to, again, meet our students where they are, make enrollment work. I had a conversation with the president this morning prior to this meeting about enrollment. So I'm proud that enrollment is a constant conversation on our campuses, as it should be and as it always has been. But we're certainly glad to see this energy that's happening across our system right now. The last thing that I wanted to update you on is kind of where we stand with our CRM implementation. I want to start off by thanking all of you that attended. If you remember the meeting that we had, it was our initial CRM meeting in October, and it was the first time we brought the folks from across the system to be with us and learn about the system. I want to thank you all for attending that meeting, and Chairman Davis, you even shared some perspective from the business side as to how a CRM has helped you and your company along the way. I could tell you that was very, very well received, and our people certainly enjoyed that, and I think it energized them and made them understand the product even more than they already did. But the important thing that I really want to highlight today is that we were able to launch our pilot institution. As you all remember, it was Northwest Shoals, and we were excited to tell you that Northwest Shoals was our pilot. We went through all of this training with them to get them live. On December 7th, we actually had our second training, and we had about 80 or so people here from across the system. But on that date, we launched Northwest Shoals' instance for Target X. So they have been live for over a month now. So if you go on Northwest Shoals' website and you chose to apply, you would see a new look application that's compatible with whatever device you chose, whether you did it from a phone or a tablet or whatever. It would be compatible to that device, but it is a much more intuitive application. We kind of had a debrief this morning with their Director of Enrollment Management, who shared some really positive feedback from after just a month of having the product. The first thing that he noticed was that application processing is a lot faster. So they're more efficient in the way that they process applications, and there's a lot less human data entry, which leaves time for them to interact more with students. The other thing that he stated was, since launching on December the 7th, they had 411 students inquire, meaning they went on the website, they selected, I want to know more about Northwest Shoals. Out of that 411, 330 have already applied for admission. So over 75% of those students who inquired have applied. What I love about that is a statement that we were not able to make a year ago, or 2 months ago, rather. So now they know that 75% of the students that inquired have actually applied. So I hope to have more stories like that for you as we continue to get our colleges live. So they're using the product. They're having more conversations about how can we interact with students. And he shared an instance this morning where they had a meeting where someone said, I wish we could tell our students that we've got this event coming up. Well, they can, and they did. And they are actually using the event suite in the product to invite students to events on campus. So they are literally tracking every single thing that's going on, and they're tracking the numbers to know what their yield rates are. So if you imagine that business funnel for them since December, 411 have applied, 411 have inquired, 330 have applied. Now they want to see how many of those 330 they can get to enroll, and that's the end game. So we're excited to share that news with you about Northwest Shoals, and they're excited about the product as well. Our other 23 colleges are also excited. So next steps for us is we have 4 colleges that are doing what we call additional testing for the product. So we're going to get those colleges plus 2, which will be 6 colleges live right after January 20th. So 8 days from today, we will have 6 more colleges that will go live with the product, and we're going to do that 2 more times, and by the end of the first quarter of this year, we will have our entire system live on the product. They will be using our CRM. Everyone will be functional users in a sense, so we're excited about that. And I really want to take a moment to pause there to acknowledge Molly Pollard, our system CRM administrator, and our entire IT team, which consists of her, Cedric Arrington, and Bruce Tennyson. And the reason I wanted to acknowledge them is they have made launching this product so easy from the perspective of the colleges, because all of the heavy lifting, the IT work, we've done here. And the colleges can focus on being functional users of the product. So I want to publicly acknowledge that group along with Neil Scott from my office, because the four of them as a team have made it look easy, if you will, and I get to tell you about all the success stories, but those are the people behind the scenes really making this happen for our system. So again, I wanted to give you an update on that because I know you all are supporters of the product and you understand the product, but in 2 months, we will have our entire system live and using the recruitment, marketing, and event suite of the product. And then we will go to phase 2, which is launching the retention suite. And that's when it becomes a lot more intuitive and an advisor can have a conversation with the student that's currently on campus. So just wanted to provide you with those 3 updates. And at this time, I would love to take any questions or comments that you have.
It's great to see the progress. It's happening as you said it would. We appreciate that.
Well, I hope it always happens like that. But thank you all so much, and I just want to publicly state that I stayed within my 10 minutes. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. Anything else? Yeah. Chancellor.
Well, I think it'd be remiss not to acknowledge that Olivier has built a staff that are all about serving and recruiting and helping students. That's what we're about. I had someone yesterday kind of push me on trying to talk about ROI in this business. You know, we're in the people business. If I was building robots, I might could commit to you what percentage of them are going to work just right. But he's been able to take a small group of people who are totally committed to improving our colleges across the state, and they have worked with great diligence and I would say acceptance from our schools to improve what we're doing, and you're beginning to see the results. There's a system in place, and it would have never happened had we not done something that this board committed to do since you first became a board, of getting up to speed on technology and with the common programs across the system. And we're going to reap the benefits from that. This state is going to reap benefits. So good leadership in that group, and a good group of people. Any one of them could disappear tomorrow, and the rest of the group would cover for them. So it's a well-trained group of people.
Very good. Thank you. Any other reports?
Yes, I'd like to ask Aubrey if she would come forward. If y'all recall back what is it, Aubrey, now 2 years ago?
3.
3?
I started 2 years ago, though.
Okay, well, time flies, kind of. But we received a significant grant, and Aubrey has been responsible for implementing that across the system. And I've asked her, since it's well underway and moved along, to give a report to the board.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
Is there a PowerPoint? Okay. We're going to have a PowerPoint in just a second. But my name is Audrey Webb, and I'm the project director for the ALAMAP project. The ALAMAP project stands for the Alabama Advanced Manufacturing Apprenticeship Program. It was a grant that we received in July 2019 for $12 million, and it's to expand advanced. Let's see, hold on. Okay. In manufacturing, in Quick Start pre-apprenticeships, apprenticeships, and the FAME program. So as we all know that in industry, they're really having a hard time recruiting and retaining employees in skilled labor force. So our grant was kind of an answer to that, or was an answer to that, one of them. And in this program, we're working with and partnering with Manufacturing Institute, MI, and NAM, the National Association of Manufacturers. And this is a 4-year program. So without this program, we have to use industry partners. You know, this program would not work at all without our industry partners. As of today, we have 146 industry partners. In this program, these industry partners are sponsoring students And if they're not sponsoring on that yet, we're working on it, to continue. Some of them will sponsor one year and not sponsor one the next. And some of them, it's 10 per year. It just depends on the company. But as you can see, all of our major automotive industries are part of this program, all their tier 1, 2, and 3 suppliers. But not only them, we also have companies in defense, the protein plants, oil and gas, Alabama Power, just all types of industry partners in advanced manufacturing. And they're instrumental in lots of things. They go out with our colleges to recruit students. They look at our curriculum to make sure we're teaching what they need in their industries. They're sponsoring students for work-based learning experiences. And it's a win-win for our students and our industry partners. One of our programs, and one of our big programs in the ALAMAT project, is FAME. You may have heard about FAME. FAME stands for the Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education. And right now we have 5 programs across the state: Calhoun, Northwest Shoals, Wallace State, Southern Union, and Gadsden State. We have 2 new programs starting this fall. One at Trenton, which is the River Region chapter, and at Bishop, and it's going to be called FAME on the Coast. Now, there's something a little special about the Bishop State one. All the FAME chapters in the U.S. are in advanced manufacturing for industrial maintenance. The new Bishop program is going to be in process technology. So as you know, in the Mobile area, there's lots of oil and gas, paper, steel, process type plants. So there we're going to start the first process technology. And this is the first one outside of that in the nation. We're going to be developing new curriculum, and I'll tell you a little more about that in a second. And we're going to be sending that nationwide and even starting other programs like machine tool technology and welding for FAME programs. I'm sorry, let me go back one second. So as you can see there, that young man is signing. What's really cool and my favorite thing about the FAME program is that after we recruit the students and the schools make sure that they're career and college ready, the students have some of the colleges have a draft day, like the NFL draft. So if you're a football fan like myself, and my team lost this week, we won't talk about that. They actually draft the students. So the industry partners are all in a room together. They interview all the students, one at a time, and then they put them in a draft. And so after they draft the students, they call them right then. They get on the cell phone, call the student, make them an offer. And we encourage the students to go ahead and take that offer. Every night, now and then, they won't take it, but we encourage them, hey, take that. We tell them that ahead of time. So that's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun with the companies kind of, arguing or fighting over a student. I got to enjoy that at Gadsden State with our very first FAME program, so I really enjoyed that. But you're probably thinking, well, what's so special about FAME? That sounds like some of our other work-based learning programs in the state. Well, FAME has a couple of things that is different, and it's 2 different things. So professional behaviors and MCEs, manufacturing core exercises. So in every FAME program, we teach professional behaviors. So the way the student dresses, as you can see, that young man has a polo shirt with FAME on his shirt. Some of them even have the company names on the other side. They wear that every day to school. And then, of course, their uniform to work. They tuck in their shirt, they have boots on, look nice, and dress professionally every day. They also clock in and out while they're in school, so they can't be late. They receive points if they're late. They try to treat it just like they're at work while they're at school. They have a safety circle every morning, and each student will get up and speak about a safety problem. And that gives them, chance to talk about communication and learn communication skills. And then with the MCEs, each semester there's a manufacturing core exercise. So the first semester, as you can imagine, is safety. Then they have 5S and lean and troubleshooting, and the 5th one is their capstone project. So we're going to be evaluating and developing MCEs for the process tech, because it may be just a little bit different for their capstone project. Each semester during the MCEs, they do a project at school and at work. So they find a safety issue at the school and try to correct it, and also at their plant. And then they present that at the end of the semester, so they get another opportunity to present. So we are trying to incorporate these into all of our FAME programs. And a success story from this semester, or this year, was we have pre-apprenticeships, and for each pre-apprenticeship, you have to have an ALAMAP. Well, at Calhoun, we have a pre-apprenticeship in adult ed, and it is for the FAME program. And we had a young man that finished the pre-apprenticeship program and applied for ALAMAP for the FAME program, and he is in the FAME program now. So that was really exciting. And so we're trying to develop more pre-apprenticeships in all of our other colleges. So for our ALAMAP project update to date, and by the way, we're going through our monitoring review as we speak with DOL, so keep us in your thoughts in the next couple of weeks. But we have served 622 students as to date, and we are working in 17 colleges. So we have a couple of colleges that we're still working to start some new ALAMAPs. We have 283 FAME students since 2019 and 189 pre-apprenticeships. So and 433 total ALAMAP, which includes the FAME students. We're working with our adult ed directors across the state to start pre-apprenticeships in each one of our colleges, but also to start pre-apprenticeships in all of our CTE programs. Now keep in mind this project is for advanced manufacturing, so every now and then we'll get, somebody will ask, can we do other programs that maybe they don't work in advanced manufacturing? And for this program we can't, but of course we want to do all work-based learning in any programs. Any questions?
Just going to say this program is, is really great, and we're, every day you just look at the projects that are coming to the state, and a lot of them require this advanced manufacturing training. And just glad that we have this program and that we're meeting the needs, of the state.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the other thing we're gonna have to do is start looking at how we're gonna continue this program. This program has a lot involved in it, and we've made a lot of progress, and I'm not interested in stopping the progress.
Great. Pleased
is
but not
the-
satisfied.
What is the suspense of the grant? Where are we in the process of?
So we're at year 3.
Okay.
We haven't found out if we're going to get a year extension, no cost extension, but we're working on that. Dr. Olson is helping to work on that. And because we did lose a lot of time during COVID, unfortunately, but we have made great strides since then. We do need to, we've spent pretty much all of our equipment money. Bishop still has a few things that they're ordering. They were starting a year later due to their new building and things like that, and their FAME program was starting this fall. We have had trouble spending the scholarship monies due to all the other monies that we've received for COVID and things like that. But we're working on a budget modification to help us with that and to be able to spend that money. But it's going really well. We have a lot of work left to do, as Chancellor Baker said, but we're making great strides.
Thank you.
I love
Thank
the
you.
partnership as well, 146 partners. That's really commendable as
great.
well.
Yes, sir.
It's good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Audrey's done a great job for this. Mara, can you come forward and let's talk a little bit about the Innovation Center? This is a major, start to say deviation, and that's probably not a good term to apply, but it's a major change.
Enhancement.
Pardon?
Enhancement.
Yeah, okay. But I think this particular program, as all of the other programs are good, but this particular program has an opportunity to reach across the entire system and be somewhat of an energizing effort, not just with our people, but with the communities that are being served and the various organizations that are being touched with this process. So,
Thanks for having me. I have spoken to you twice before, and pretty lengthy, as I'm often reminded. But I am very excited about this endeavor, and if you could really see the way that communities are pulling together, just like the Chancellor said, it is a very exciting process for the college to be able to be part of, as a system as a whole. But today, I'm really excited to tell you that we conducted and completed our first round of training. And this one was, our first courses, remember, were centered around hospitality and tourism. Part of that was because the World Games coming to Birmingham, and everyone is really concerned about having enough employees to be able to work in restaurants, bars, hotels, parks, any kind of aspect of that. In fact, the governor gave $1 million toward training into 3 of our first courses that will be able to serve hospitality and tourism, and you may have seen that over the last week. We've had a lot of news releases. In fact, Associated Press actually picked it up and wrote an article. So we've had some good coverage lately. But this one, the first course, is in food and beverage services, which means that a student would be able to take this course and get a job in a restaurant or bar. So on January 4th, we opened it up to, we wanted to control this environment. We're still trying to test out the system and see how it's going to work. And so we opened it up to 15 students. Our pilot was with Coastal Community College, and so they helped us partner with their chamber to locate 15 students who wanted to be hired, and then companies who would hire them once the training was done. Remember that there is a credential award in this whole game that protects the whole program because it requires occupations be attained. So if you don't get a job, then the credential status is lost on the course, and we go back to the drawing board. So in this way, we opened it to 15 people. And those 15 people were a very unique mixture. The ages ranged from 19 to 68, and I was looking over some information that you were given in the board packet, and it just says our average age of a credit-bearing student in the state is 23, and the adult ed average age is 32. Our average age for this course was 35. Almost all of them were in the mid-30s who participated. Interestingly enough, one of them was a 67-year-old man who had been driving a golf cart for a restaurant from a parking lot into the building for customers who were coming, and he decided he wanted to work inside the industry. He'd never had a job in the restaurant business, but they wanted to offer him one in the back of the house, so food prep, and he took the course. And we were trying to sort of capture exactly what their experience would be like, so we wanted to watch them engage with the course, allow them to bring their own devices. And the South Baldwin Chamber, who represents almost 1,000 restaurants and bars in that area, they helped us by opening up a break room inside a restaurant, and they sent someone with them to be there with the students as they took the course. We knew that the course would take them anywhere from 3 to 8 hours to complete, and that's what happened. The majority of them finished around hour 6, but if they needed help and needed some technical support, she was there to help them, and then we were also on call. Kathy Carr is a member of our team, and she sort of directs Elevate and does a lot of other things for the system office, but she was able to answer any technical questions. And the pictures that you're seeing are the actual lab day that happened after the course was taken online. So remember that a student takes the theory portion online. We can monitor that, make sure that they don't progress unless they answer every question correctly and watch every video. And then when they show up in the lab, they're able to prove that they've learned what it was that we asked them to learn. So the lab day took place last Saturday on the 8th, and it's an 8-hour day. It started at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we finished just before 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We did serve them lunch, and we did that because we wanted to be able to have that time to engage with them. I needed to ask a lot of specific questions. We all did. And we also just kind of wanted to be part of it, so it was an exciting day. We were really glad that we held the lab location on Coastal's Gulf Shores campus because they have a really great culinary kitchen. And they actually have a portion of it that is a restaurant. It's a serviceable restaurant that you can go in and have lunch and dinner. So it was a perfect location for it. We hired we actually hired 2 Coastal instructors. One was from their hospitality program, which is a 2-year program. The other one was also from that program, but a bakery chef. And both of the individuals, particularly the bakery chef, had owned his own business and then worked in the restaurant industry for a long time before becoming an instructor at the college. So his knowledge was really tremendous for us. We also invited restaurant owners, the ones that had promised to hire the students who were participating in the course. We asked them to come and be part of the day, and 2 restaurant owners plus 2 managers came, as well as several members from the chamber. And the workforce dean, Josh Duplantis, he brought his family, including his 2 children, to mimic customers sitting at a table, placing an order. And then we had the director of hospitality and a couple of their other instructors just to watch the day kind of unfold. Clinton from our office came to take some of this footage for us. But basically, we divided the day into stations. The purpose of the lab is so that the purpose of every course is not just to learn a specific skill set, but it is to learn about the job at hand, so the whole picture. And that has been a real challenge to put in the courses, because that includes a lot of customer service, not just interacting with the customer, but a hypothetical customer, and then also your teammates. So we want to make sure that what they're learning is how to apply their knowledge and make them a very good employee so that they can stay within the industry for a long time. And that's exactly what we found. The first station was for front of the house, so they were acting as hostesses, seating families, and then serving beverages. They actually learned to carry a tray of drinks all there, and then they took orders from people sitting at the tables who were given a menu from some of the features of the course, like the Hot and Hot Fish Club. Remember that Chris Hastings was there. Also Panini Pete, and his won the Food Network, Panini won an award. So we featured those items and asked them to be able to recite the special for the day. And then we had the customers provide conflict. We wanted them to experience some of the hypothetical situations that they will be needing to solve once they're on the job. So some of us had dairy allergies, some of us were just really picky eaters. We wanted to tear apart the menu. Some of them just were ordering kind of crazy amounts of food, but it worked out really well. The second station was the back of the house. That was a little bit more of how to use a knife, how to cut an onion, how to keep your workspace clean, also making a vinaigrette. We had another station for accepting an order from specific vendors and what you need to say if there's something wrong with the order. And we set it up so that there were things wrong with it every time they checked it in. Then we had to ask them to put it away and label it appropriately with proper dates, and then answer, again, hypothetical questions that, what happens when you open up a can of tomato sauce and you only use half of it? What do? Do you cover it and put the can back in the refrigerator? And there are very specific things that you do. And so we walked them through that process. The whole time that they were having this experience, the instructor was checking off a list of skills that we expected them to be able to master at that station. If they did not, or if they weren't able to check it off the first time, we of course gave them another chance. We took them aside, walked them through it, kind of practiced with them, and then they went through it again. The purpose of it is not to pass or fail, and we want them all to pass. We want them all to be able to be good stewards, and we've shown them a job opportunity that's waiting for them. So we just want them to be prepared for the job so that we make sure that we are standing by the promises that we made, that we're going to be able to train them up to be great employees. So some of the things that we picked up from the day, it was really nice. It was, those of us who work at the system don't always get an opportunity to interact with students or participants, and this was a really good day. It was very engaging. They said very, very complimentary things about the course. When there was an issue, it was almost always because the course was given on an iPhone that was old, and we have since made adjustments. Anything that they had trouble with, we have also adjusted, or we're in the process of adjusting so that doesn't happen again. And they had really good feedback for us about the course as far as the lab was concerned. Some of the best parts is that there were a couple who were already working in the industry. So someone working in the kitchen prepping food now had the experience that a server might have interacting with a picky customer. And they literally said out loud, this makes sense. Now, when an order comes back to the kitchen, we will complain because it's been changed. But now we understand what it feels like to be able to stand in front of a customer, take their order, and then have to relay it to the kitchen to make sure that it's just right. So even if it's not an allergy, it's just all trying to maintain the customer's experience for the benefit of the restaurant. So we had really great feedback in that way. Of those, the 67-year-old, there was another 67-year-old who's a dishwasher. He's going to be promoted to a frontline food prep, after the training, and that's going to give him an estimated $10,000 additional wage. There was another 50-year-old food expediter. She wanted to become a server. She's worked in the industry for a long time, and so her estimated salary increase is going to be $15,600 a year. And then we had one that was really special, a 32-year-old who was an Auburn graduate in biochemistry. And she had been a bartender for a long time. And she said, bartending is what pays my college loans and pays my bills. And thank you for providing this training, because you have helped me validate what I'm doing to my family. And I have to say that a lot to them. This is a real job. And there are a lot of things that happen inside a restaurant that makes or breaks it. And she was really glad to have that. So we were happy to hear all that. The best part about it was at the end of the day, we awarded their certificates. And all of the students we registered are from the coastal area. And so Coastal was able to award all of the participants the completion certificate, which gets them college credit. 2 people cried when we said, you're actually going to have a transcript that sits with the community college so that if you want to go ahead, you can. And so we spent some time with that. We let Coastal sort of take the microphone in that to just show them. And the good thing about it is that Coastal had broken down their hospitality program into short certificates. They saw the participants and they went back into a break room and divided them out into short certificate so that they could show them that an upskill for them would only take 1 semester. An average age of 35 is not going to allow somebody 2 years worth of time to go through a full program, but 1 semester is certainly doable. And they were really good to point out those courses that are they bundled together that were virtually based. So even though they might have to take a semester in college, they could take it online, and so they could maintain their job in the daytime. So that was really good. We also had, remember, 2 restaurant owners were there who were hiring. They heard Coastal say that at the end. We gave them that arrow, that you've seen, that red arrow to show the progression with the wages associated for every job. And one of the restaurant owners said, I want to tell all of you that we are hiring, and he was hiring 4. That we believe in this program and we believe in you. And so we want you to go out and get a job, get a little experience, but if you would like to prosper yourself and go through some of these additional courses, we will help you with your tuition. We will help you pay for that. And that's not something formal that he had ever offered, he said, or really had even talked to any of his other owners, but he just had a really good experience that day. All of us did. And I think that he was able to put faces with job opportunities and then what the college could provide. So it was a good example for all of us. So it's an exciting time to be able to reveal all of these courses. With this one now, we feel like Coastal should be able to take it and run it as many times as possible. We are asking that they identify the students and the jobs because we want to protect the credential, especially within our first pilot year. So far, they've been able to do that. So you just imagine if Coastal could open up that culinary kitchen every Saturday, how many people they could train. We've put together some numbers with the first 3 for hospitality just toward the World Games, and it should be able to capture us a little bit over 2,000 students between now and then. So our next step with that course is to start placing it at other colleges. And Jeff State has asked to take it for the first time on January 29th. We'll conduct the lab there. We'll probably do the same thing where we open it to 15 participants on Monday. They complete the lab on Saturday. We still want to watch and make sure that all that is as it should be. But then the courses just come out, a lot of them at a time. CDL is next, Class A, Class B for school buses, and then the other 2 additional hospitalities, heavy equipment operator for pavers. They're just, the fiber optics, the list just goes on and on. Does anybody have any questions?
Do the students receive their job offer when they receive their certificate?
Yes, they knew. The great thing about this particular lab, and this was something that the chamber helped us with, those students were paid to take the exam. They were hired and they started getting paid the day that they sat in with the chamber representative. So they were paid for that 8-hour day as well. And then their first day of employment will be today. One of them was working on Sunday afternoon. So that's one day later. But some of them were employed, remember, they were moving into their new positions. All should be moving into their positions this week. So, yeah.
Very good.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else? All right. Do we have any committee reports? No committee reports? All right, very
You
good.
know, Mr. President, I should mention, I guess, I think I don't have to say this, but the legislature is in town.
Yes.
And so Boone told him that's his important job, is take care of that, as you well know. We'll have to keep you informed. We already have some information from the governor's office, I believe. Not ready to we hadn't analyzed it, just got it a few minutes ago. You'll be getting direct information as soon as we can get that out. We had our budget presentation yesterday. Generally, I think everything's moving along pretty good. I have a meeting at 1 o'clock with the chair of the Senate budget today. And then the meeting, Boone, I think we have a meeting, at 2 or 3 with the speaker to talk about it. So we're working on it. We'll keep you posted on a regular basis just so you'll know what's going on. May even call on you to, how about twisting somebody's arm if you feel inclined to.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. All right, next date and location for our next meeting. The work session will follow immediately after this meeting, once adjourned. And our next Board of Trustees meeting is February the 9th, 2022, 10 a.m. In this building in the boardroom. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second? All right, meeting adjourned.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Take care. Be safe.
Good to see y'all.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right, see you. Thanks, Chuck.
We actually went in and added some things. I just summon over again.
We're going to begin our work session, and I guess the first item of business is the legal, and I'll ask Mr. O'Brien to lead us in that.
Good morning to you all. The first item on the work session agenda, it is time for the renewal of our professional legal liability insurance, and I am both relieved and pleased to report that we have received a quote from our current insurer, RSUI Indemnity Company, that is only a 3% increase over the last year. I was, again, relieved to get this quote. The retention amounts, the self-insured retention amounts for the various colleges and the system office will remain the same this year. We will have $10 million in aggregate coverage, which is the same as it has been with RSU from the outset. Does anyone have any questions regarding the professional legal liability insurance?
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is facilities, and Mr. Salmon.
Good morning, board members. There's a slide deck that is loading for us to view this morning. Great. We have 4 projects, 1 at Jefferson State and 3 at Calhoun to present to you here in the work session this morning. At Calhoun, we're introducing a CDL training track at the site of Chilton and on the Clanton campus. The drawing that you see here is a representation between the campus and I-65 of where that elliptical or that loop will be placed in the training facility for the CDL program. It's about a 3/4 of a mile track that'll be made available. This has bidded out in the last couple of days, and we're currently in the process where we received one bid, working through that, and we'll be coming back to the board members for action on this particular project in the February board meeting. Budget has been set for this project at $1.6 million to complete this particular CDL need. Board members, any questions or comments about this project?
There's facilities there for classroom instruction as well, right?
Yes.
So this is just for the track.
Yeah, they have the campus that's right there. It's just a matter of a couple hundred yards away. And if they need facilities for instructional classroom, they can go out there. And they may put some other facilities out there at this site as well to complement what they're doing. The next project that we have for you board members is various HVAC projects at Calhoun Community College. These projects are at both the Decatur and the Huntsville campus location. At the Decatur campus, we have two buildings where we would change out the HVAC equipment. One is the Center for Applied Technology, and then the other one is at the Center for Industry and Training. On the Huntsville campus, this is building number one. This is the large building that we're finishing up the renovation of that site. And in these particular locations at both campuses, these are systems that are at the end or outside of their design life and do need to be replaced. They'll also address issues of indoor air quality. And the funding for these buildings is coming from the CARES Act. Budgets that have been set for these three locations are estimated at about $3.3 million. We anticipate that we will be taking bids here and being able to bring these back for board action in the February meeting. Any questions or comments? The next project that we have is also at Calhoun Community College. This is to renovate and make improvements to the HVAC system in Kelly Gym. This project is also being funded through CARES funds. On the Decatur campus there, you see the location of the gym. The budget for this particular project, board members, is approximately $1 million, similar to the previous project that we just reviewed. Any questions or comments? And then the last project is a project for parking lot improvements at Calhoun at the Huntsville campus location. The building that is currently finishing up the renovation activities, those three parking lots that surround that building are in need of resurfacing. The intent is to mill those three parking lots and then come back with about a 2-inch wear surface that will go on top of it. The parking lots, especially the top two ones, have been the site for construction staging, and they've been beat up significantly as part of the project. This will bid here in the next couple of months. The budget that we have established for this is set at about $763,000. And that will be funded through the Calhoun College itself. Any questions or comments, board members, for this project? Thank you, board members.
Thank you.
The last item on the work session agenda is Snead State's request for the Board of Trustees to authorize the president to confer a named gift by renaming the Snead State Administration Building to the Joe and Susan Story Administration Building and naming the Snead State Library the Margaret Pritchett Story Library. These naming opportunities are in exchange for a $2 million gift to the Snead State Foundation. And as further consideration for the gift, Dr. and Mrs. Story are requesting that in the event the college should in the future establish or construct a welding classroom or welding lab, that the classroom or lab be named for Ms. Story's father, Tom Nolan. The materials included with this action item include a letter from Dr. and Mrs. Story setting out the history of the family and their connection with the college, along with the bios of Dr. Story and Mrs. Story. The funds will be used for the design and installation of appropriate signage and for various other projects and improvements across the campus. We have with us this morning President Whitmore, who would be happy to answer any questions or provide additional comments regarding this item.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Thank you, Chancellor and Board, for the opportunity to speak with you. I thought regarding the amount of this donation, it would you would want some context on that. When the Chancellor put me in this role and asked me to take this on, one of the first things we did was prioritize our efforts to get back in the community, to reestablish some relationships that had been broken and to build some new ones. Over the first several months, I made it an effort to speak personally with every superintendent, every principal, every mayor, every chamber of commerce in our area to, again, build those relationships and to share our vision for what we want to do and to let them know that we're there to listen to them as well. So as part of these meetings, I would always ask the question, what can we do to help? These meetings included meeting with various business and industry leaders. Well, over a course of several months, and again, this was taking place at the height of COVID, which made it a lot more difficult, but over the process of several months, it started generating a lot of interest, a lot of excitement in our community to see that we were re-engaging and to see the things that we were going to do. We started talking to more people. So as we were reaching out to alumni, the word was already out of what we were doing. In my first discussions with the Stories, my intent was to we were attempting to raise funds to assist with our Aspire project, which is to build a career tech training center, and we were looking for some funding to help buy the equipment. The Chancellor's been very generous with us, and we appreciate his support, but we also know that he doesn't have limitless funds, and it's incumbent upon us as institutions to try to find other sources of revenue and other ways that we can do to supplement that. And so that's what we were doing. This relationship with the Stories has been going on for about a year, and we've been slowly building that through phone calls. We've had many Zoom conferences with them. They actually live in Pensacola, and we were finally able to get them to visit our campus back in the summer, and they spent an entire day walking around with us, seeing the needs that we have. We took them to our aviation center. We took them to the site that we hope to build our career tech center. We took them to ARAB, and they were just overcome with emotion for having been there many years ago. And the end of the day, they were asking me, can you go over here and take us by where we used to live and where my mom lived? And so it was really a coming home for them. They made a statement that I wanted to share with you that's not in your packet, that Dr. Story told me. He says, we give regularly to our alma maters at Auburn University and at UAB. And he said that those funds that we give, although we know they're helpful, they get mixed up into a lot more other funds. And to be honest with you, they don't need them. He says, we can spend our money here and make a difference. And that really touched me to know that making a difference was important to them, because that's what's important to us as well. So over the course of the next several weeks, we explored several different options with them. We were offering them different opportunities, and that's how we landed on this $2 million gift, which, by the way, is going to be this is not a gift over time or a life insurance policy. This is a check we'll receive for the full $2 million at once. So it's very exciting. That's a gift that is unheard of for a school our size in our history. It's by far our largest gift. And so we're very, very excited about this opportunity and the impact that it's going to have on our community, on our school, and on our students. Do you have any questions of me about this or any other things about as we move forward with this?
Just want to commend you on making those connections with the community, and my goodness, thanks to the Story family. I did not know their story, no pun intended, but it's quite impressive to see that connection and their commitment to stay and support Snead State. So, thank
Well,
you.
they have a great story, and I believe they're going to be good partners. And I don't want to jump the gun, but I don't believe this will be the final donation we get from this family. I believe that they are very excited about what's happening and what they're seeing, and I believe they'll be a good partner for us for years to come.
That's great.
I just want to echo that comment. Thank you, Dr. Whitmore, for being engaged with the community and reaching out. I mean, it's been evident since you came aboard that you're committed to doing that. And again, what a tremendous gift, and I look forward to more to come at Snead.
Thank you.
Great work, Dr. Whitmore. And I know this took a long period of time. This didn't happen overnight, so appreciate your work and your efforts.
Well, if I could say one other thing before I sit down, and I want to say I'm speaking for all the presidents, but since I didn't clear it with them, I better not say that. But I'm very confident that they would agree with me. When we're out making these connections and engaging with the community, we know that the community is watching our chancellor very closely to see what's going on. They're watching our board members. They watch what you do. And the initiatives that you're driving home to us and supporting, and the leadership that you give to this community college is really creating an excitement not only in our area but statewide. And I'm seeing a confidence in talking with people that we haven't seen in a while. And your leadership and the things that you do to empower us gives us credibility when we go out and try to do things like this. So I just want to let you know, Chancellor, how much we appreciate what you stand for and what you do for us, and the board as well for supporting the Chancellor and supporting each one of us, because it definitely makes a difference when we're talking to our partners and trying to engage the community when they see what's going on statewide and they're buying into that. So we appreciate that.
Thank you. That's good. All right, board, any comments, any questions, anything else? All right, work session's adjourned. Meeting's ended. Thank you. What was that? Oh, okay, wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for everything.
Thank you.
That was good. Yeah. I was going to say, I can't resist. You got some. You got some.
We got other things to go. All right. Hey, Jay.
Legislative dinner last night.
That's better than negatives.
That's right. All right. Just keep, all I'm saying is keep up the good work. We'll see you.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Be careful. Yes, sir.
Take care, sir. Good to see you.